Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, A.D. Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. I appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us. Another edition. It's going to be a great show. Thank you guys for always supporting and being there for us. Uh, let's see. Today on the brothers. So today we're going to be talking about: Are we raising a softer generation? Uh, this is going to be an interesting topic. Um, let's see, because we are discussing: Are we raising a softer generation? Let's see, are we raising softer? Filling out my text. Yes, live on screen. Shit. So make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. I appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you stay connected. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Never miss a broadcast. Never miss what's going on with the Brothers of Legacy. This thing always asks me for a code. So appreciate you guys for being here. Rock with us. Another edition. I know we weren't here yesterday. And if you missed the video, we're gonna be doing something a little different on Mondays, starting real soon. Yeah. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Bam, bam, and 754. But stay tuned. I need you to stay connected. Just stay connected. Keep rocking with me. There will always be a broadcast on Monday. We just may not be live. Let me say it that way. We just may not be live. All right. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and kick this off. Again, this is your opportunity to share. Make sure you share. Make sure you tag. Let everybody know that the brothers are in the building. I appreciate you guys for always being supportive, always having our backs, and just stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll be right back right after these. These? I think it's these. Boom. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. Happy Tuesday, all.
Yes,
Happy
sir. Happy Tuesday to you, gentlemen.
Yes, indeed. Thank you guys for being
I see
here.
Kaneem was out and about today.
Yes.
Man, what you talking about? It's ugly out here too, boy.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. It is ugly out there. It's out there early this morning. So we I have, as always, my pastor, Pastor Brian A. McCrory Sr. in the building. Um, Below we have Kaneem, aka Beastie Boys.
Yes. Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
I would
Brass
say,
monkey.
right?
Step on the monkey. That's what I'm talking about.
listen, listen, listen. If you don't know who the Beastie Boys is, and once you Google it, and if you look it up on YouTube, just for context, it's the 80s. We didn't know what we were doing with videos, with music videos. They were just Beastie Boys was freestyling. Just,
No
it's
sleep
not
till
gonna make
Brooklyn.
sense. Don't worry.
No
I
sleep
can't
till
even explain it
Brooklyn.
to you. I can't. I can't decipher the Beastie Boys either. But it was what was hot back then. So just just for context. So you looking like what in the
Hey,
world is?
and
I
I
can't.
didn't even know they was white till I saw the video. I thought it was a bunch of brothers. I said, "Oh,
Wow.
it's a white
Wow.
guy." Nice.
Yes, they were signed to the
I see my
it's
cousin Philip on here this morning. Morning, Lisa. Morning,
yes.
Philip.
What's up, everybody? Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Philip. Again,
Morning, Lisa.
thank you guys for
Morning,
being here.
Philip.
All right. So today's conversation. Um, I didn't hit save. So we're talking about are we creating a softer generation? You know, the next generation coming before us, are they softer? So
Man, yeah.
yeah, but okay, so let's throw this out there. I know there's this tough exterior that a lot of men show, right? But they are soft as jello on the inside. And I was going to, can we keep it real?
Hey,
Listen. I know
I'm,
cats
I'm
that
sipping and I'm
they
marinating.
got this hard exterior, but their feelings get hurt quick, and they don't know how to process when their feelings are hurt. Can we have a real conversation about this? Like, I get what everyone says this generation can't do, but what we're raising in a sense is a generation that can handle hurt feelings. Like, how do you process, how do you
Oh,
I'm just what I'm saying, but we're more to me, I'm gonna say for me in my house, like we're more focused on processing when things happen. How do you not be so reactive? How do you not get angry and pull a gun out? How do you handle things when they come into your face? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, granted, you may fold up if you get punched in the face, because and this goes for all three of us. We're not raising our children in those areas where they're getting into fights every day. Like they got to fight their way to school. And can we? All right, I need y'all to agree on me on that because I was like, I know where my gentlemen are living, and they're not living in those kind of spaces.
That's not true.
Okay, he said that's not true.
Well, maybe it wasn't like for my children, but what I'm saying is violence is everywhere.
No, I get it. No, what I'm just saying, like, because listen, when I started this conversation, what's up, Jeff? Good morning. When I started like looking up this particular conversation, when you put that question up in on YouTube, plethora of guys saying the next generation is soft. That's all they say. These guys, these cats, they can't even work on a car. Like, I get it. I'm kind of soft because I can't work on a car. Like I'm just, if some of the standards of what's considered a man, some of the things that were said. One dude went on for 10 minutes, didn't really say anything. Like a man with integrity. I was like, I get it. I was like, aren't we raising our children to be truthful and honest? I'm just saying, like, some of the standards that are out there that people profess as manhood, doesn't equate to everything. We're trying to raise our men to not only be covered, workers, because we want them to work, but to cover their household. We don't want our men or boys right now to walk out on their families because it get tough. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to be able to face anything. And we know tough dudes that can't face everything. Yeah, they can face a fight. We all know somebody that if it went down right now, you call, and if you want a tornado, a tsunami of a person to come through, they don't even care what the issue is. Like, yo, we got a problem over here. They're gonna come in like a whirlwind. They can handle that, but they can't handle their relational drama. They can't handle their relationships with their children. They can't handle being peaceable at a job. You understand what I'm saying? So are we raising, so I get the next generation of our men or our boys. They may not be the rough and tumble kind of dude, but they be able to handle things, handle responsibilities, handle the stresses that come along with just living. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is kind of where our mindset is, as opposed to you got to toughen them up. You got to be on them. Right? I don't know if you ever been around that crew of folks, like, you got to beat on them, fight them, make them a man. Like, and we know, well, for me, because I watched it, that doesn't really work. That kind of making someone a man doesn't really work. I mean, it makes them tough. Like, as far as able to get punched in the face, it makes them angry. Like they become, I wish somebody would, but does it really make them a man?
I mean, I get it. I understand. Yeah, I think everybody has their perspective.
Hey, good morning, Samantha.
Morning, Sam.
But I do think it's demographically based. But I will tell you that in my mind, we are dealing with a generation that abhors the word no. And I'm saying male or female.
Okay.
No one likes the word no. It's all of a sudden it went from the favorite word of a 2-year-old.
Right.
No.
All right.
To them despising the word. Like, they don't, like, there's such a sense of entitlement with the generation that, when you talk about being soft, nobody wants to be inconvenienced.
Right.
And I don't know, like, where you're going with the conversation, but I will tell you, I can't blame the next generation.
Right. Let's go. Let's go. Right.
What I've learned, and I hear this from young people, they're looking at the previous generation saying, what have y'all done?
Right.
What world have you brought us into? We are the sum of your addition, of your mathematics.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You brought us in, you raised us, and here we are. We didn't make ourselves, we didn't groom ourselves.
Right.
So where did this behavior come from?
Right.
It came from grown folks wanting their children to have it better than they had it.
Right. 100%. Good intentions.
So we have softened them.
Yeah.
That's one component.
Right.
I can put some scripture to it.
Well, Kaneem, Beastie Boys.
Yes, sir.
What's your take on it? What's your take
in my
on
opinion, I know for sure that I'm softer than the previous generation before. I know I'm soft.
Right.
Let me say that.
Right.
And I'm gonna even go as far as to say my daddy was softer than his daddy.
Let's
Absolutely.
But go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I reach one more past him and say my granddaddy was softer than his daddy.
Right. And for terms of us, I think we're talking because of like some of the level of I'm through the air quotes, the certain struggles or certain things that we don't have to do. You know, like for you and I, and even past the, you know, like 1, 2, maybe 3 generations, they had to cut wood. Like they still cut it, but they probably had to cut wood, you know, to survive or get heat. You know, like they'll maybe 3 or some, because some folks have just got out of it, had to go to an outhouse to go to the bathroom, like certain conveniences that we're used to, that if I'm like, son, oh, the bathroom, it's outside, past that on the other side. What? Like, what you mean? You know, like, what you mean? So few other and Sam made a good point. What is soften? What does that even mean? But I feel like our for context, I think you're talking about just able to handle certain things. What do you mean by that, Kaneem? Like as far as the generational, I don't want to put
not.
words
I think you mean not as rough edged, right?
Yeah,
Kaneem?
rough edge.
Like,
what I mean from my personal view is that
yes,
technology has evolved where everything is so much easier and simpler.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
So with things being so much easier and simpler, it gives us all these advantages where we don't have to use our mind, where we don't have to use our hands, where we don't have to beat the feet. Like when I go back to my grandmother and them, and my great grandmother and them, they had to walk to school 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you can just walk out your front door and it's almost like a chauffeur service to get to your school. You feel what I'm saying? And this is public transportation.
Right.
So I think about the way that we have all these luxuries as far as just eating.
Right.
Back in the day, you didn't have no choice but to cook.
Right.
Wasn't no microwave. You feel what I'm saying?
Nothing
if
quick.
you don't cook nothing, you don't eat nothing. You
right.
Right. That's how, you know what I'm saying? So as technology has evolved, it made a lot of things simpler, which made us, I think, more, and this is just not just a man, I'm talking about women too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It made all of us more relaxed where we didn't have to put forth a lot of effort.
Right.
So that lack of effort gave you almost, it dumbed you down a little bit because you didn't have to be creative. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
yeah, yeah. The bike. Yes, he is. He is a bike guy.
I'm thinking about putting a picture of it. Maybe I'll actually ride it more often.
So yeah, that's just my opinion on that, bro.
No, I got you. Would you say though, like, I know we use the word soft.
Yeah.
You say our civility or civilizedness has grown. You understand what I'm saying? Evolved.
I mean, and if you think about it, back in the day, man, I ain't gonna say everybody. I can only speak for myself.
It's everybody, right?
I only speak for myself. When this is just being physical in nature.
Okay.
You had to prove yourself. Now this for men and women, because I done seen a bunch of women get down for theirs, and this is in my school age years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But now everything is so quick. Everybody got a pistol. Everybody trying to, you know what I'm saying? That like at my son them school, they fight all the time.
Okay.
Every day.
Yeah.
He come home showing me videos every day.
Every day.
About them fighting at school. This girls and boys.
Right.
Every day. So and what I'm telling him is that's kind of how it was when I was in school. But the difference between y'all fighting every day, now y'all have it recorded and y'all are taking, because they are prosecuting. They're not all these fights every day. Y'all got the police involved every day. When we were fighting, police wasn't involved every day. You know what I'm saying? So when you got the county sheriff up there putting these 15, 16, 17-year-olds in custody, charging y'all with simple battery, now you got a record as a juvenile.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a little different now because they're not tolerating that now because of the way things are. So society as a whole is kind of like trying to get a grasp on violence,
right?
Which I appreciate. I can't say I don't appreciate it,
right?
But that's also making those that are in my circle more aware of what they don't want and what they don't need as far as physical confrontation.
Right.
And some people perceive that as being soft.
Right.
But like I tell my kids, if you could talk your way out of it.
Right. Right.
Do so.
Right.
But if you can't talk your way out.
Right.
And you see that it's about to go left.
Right.
Be the first to strike.
Right.
If you know that if you know you're finna get hit, make sure you be the first to strike. Ain't no sense you getting hit and then you retaliate, and then you still gonna get that same consequence.
Right.
That's just how it's not you going back and forth. If if it's a fight and both y'all strike each other, both y'all getting the same consequence.
Right.
No matter who started it first.
Right.
So if you're gonna do that, make sure you get the first lick. That's what I tell them.
I got you. Let me get some of these comments in. There we go. Okay, so so Jeff was answering this. Samantha said, I'm thinking basically each generation suffered less hardship. Hard men make easier times. Easy times make soft men. Soft men create hard times. I hear that, and there's different variations of that spoken. I don't know. We'll get back into that. But I think it's more, Urban Country Dude says, I think it's more of a mental thing, not a convenience thing.
But your convenience goes to your mental. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, Deborah.
Good morning.
Ali says, soft equals not being able to handle what the generation before you could. This happens because parents shelter them from our past life because we want them to have better, but they now are ill-equipped. I don't know. Is that truly ill-equipped?
It is in certain cases.
To live the life we live, and we call them so. I just bet this generation, Jeff says, I bet this generation will have a generation that they think is soft, right? But I think it's more of an issue of advancing in technology that creates an easier life. Yep. Microwave, ovens, good example, versus cutting wood, right? And putting it in the oven, right? Indeed.
Hey, yeah, I think the messaging, I agree with everything that Kaneem said. I still think that it's based on where you are. It's always going to be demographics, but I think there's a foundational thing that has to be looked at here. You said, like, you use an example of fighting in school,
right?
And when we were in school, and you got into it, and grown folks came around and said stop, you had to stop.
Yeah.
Now children don't care about grown folks being around. In fact, grown folks are fighting children now.
Right.
And getting beat.
Do you want better, Brian? Grown folks are recording the fight.
Right. That's exactly. We have become so desensitized to that kind of stuff. And so that to me is an evolution. You also talked about the benefit of the advancement of technology and all of that. See, there's two rules of thought for me, because I think it makes us better. It doesn't make us softer. But to your point, Kaneem, the exercise or the act of chopping wood for a stove builds something. It builds an endurance that you won't get from pushing a button.
For sure. Right?
Because you're exerting energy. You might hurt yourself. You got to get over the fact that you hit your leg with the axe handle. There's so many other factors that come into play.
And you got to manage your time. You got to manage your time.
And you have to manage your time. All of those things come into play. And not everybody has wood sitting in the pile waiting for you to chop it. Some folks have got to chop the tree down first.
Right.
So there's all that stuff, and it's labor, it's work, and work is a teacher of sorts. Physical labor is a teacher of sorts, and without any physical labor, the mind over matter. As tired as you are, I still got one more log to chop down. There are lessons, there are life lessons there that continue to push you that you won't get growing up in an electronic age unless someone is there to take you outside and show you what we were doing. Kaneem has a picture. He posted pictures of his sons outside working with brush, cutting down brush and pulling that stuff to the back and burning it and all that kind of stuff. Where do they do that at?
Right.
You know, seriously, like who's still doing that? You know, and I know that there are people doing it, but there are pockets of people doing it. The other piece of it regarding fighting and all of that, like I was talking to a gentleman I went to school with back in the day, and we was having this conversation, and we talked about somebody that had passed away. Like, yeah, man, he was hard. He was hard. And I'm like, but he was lazy. Like, how can you call somebody hard that won't find a job? See, to me, that's soft.
Right.
You can't get up and go to work.
Can't take care of your fam. Creating babies, ain't taking care of babies.
Right. You making babies and not taking care of them. You soft.
I don't call it soft though.
That's soft to me.
I call it irresponsible.
But that's soft.
I call it something totally different than soft.
Well, I bet the translation of what you call it equates to soft.
Right.
No, I beg to differ.
To me, I think it's an inability to deal with your situations. You know, folks that will sit around and complain about their baby mama and they can't see their child instead of trying to do something so they can see their child. You know, to me, I think this is a situation where, you know, you're hard on the outside. You'll fight one side of the world, but you won't fight for the world that matters most, that should matter more to you. You know, you won't fight to get up. You won't fight for your job. You won't fight for your community in a way that will change it. You'll bust somebody else in the head when they say something or they step on your sneakers. But, you know, that's how I look at soft. You know, you can't handle
different interpretation.
You can't handle someone saying something hurting your feelings. Like you can't confront them or have a civil conversation. You know, I don't know. That's how I look at it. And that's I mean, I get it. Like you said, you have a different interpretation. So, but I'm that's how I look at it.
I respect that.
What do you call it, Kaneem?
What do I call what?
Someone not taking care of their children, a man not taking care of his responsibility.
Oh, I pretty much neglectful. Not being a father. Irresponsible. I mean, it's a whole lot of adjectives I can call them, but soft.
No, and I agree. I call it all of those things too. But to me, all of that equates to, you know, when you're lacking. And I'm saying like these are things I had to grow out of.
Right.
You know, I didn't have that example of manhood because I came up in a house with a single mother, right? So I had to learn mannerisms from a woman. And then what she did is she had male friends to try to, you know, impart things to us, you know, someone to show us how to, you know, build a radio, somebody to show us how to change the tire on the car, change the oil on the car. We had input, bits and pieces of input from friends of hers in the neighborhood that would come through and do things like that. But that real example in the house, I never had.
No, me neither.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is we had to grow and evolve and learn how to be effective men and males and shepherds and fathers and covers for our families. Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel that too. And I had to fumble and stumble the way through it. I still don't think I'm the best dad that I could be. You know what I'm saying? I'm still fumbling, stumbling through it. You know what I'm saying? Yes, but I'm intentional on trying to be. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just different interpretations. You know what I'm saying? When I think of soft, it's the fact that you just don't really have that get up and go in you to maintain manhood. So if that's not taking care of your children, whatever, you can interpret that as soft. But I think of it as irresponsible, neglectful, something like that. Yeah. So I mean, tomato, man. You can put whatever.
Yeah, we in the same swimming pool.
You put whatever title or label you want on it.
Yeah, I was going to share this, man. Can I share? Can I read the scripture, Deuteronomy?
Sure, brother. Sure. Scripture out.
It's Deuteronomy chapter 6.
Okay.
And verse 6. I'm going to read verse 6 and 7. And these words,
press the pickup button to answer.
And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. This is God talking through the man of God. And he says, and these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. And thou shalt teach them, these words, diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. He's saying all the things that I'm teaching you, you need to put into your children, and it has to be a way of life. And what I got from that is, for me, on a personal level, I heard that message to the people of God from the Lord, and I found out this is what I owe my children. The answer to the question of what you owe your children is to put in them what God has put in me, and make sure that that becomes a lifestyle. And that's what we're talking about: responsibility, accountability, character, integrity, right? And a heart for righteousness, a heart for what's right. And if you're not doing those things, then you are disserving the next generation. So the question is, what does that entail? What does that mean for me? What do I owe my children? I owe them not to be so narcissistic that life revolves around them and not anything or anybody else.
Right. Exactly. That's a big one. That's right. A big one.
And as I'm trying to teach them that, what I'm learning is I'm battling against other grown folks who aren't teaching the same thing to their children. And my children are encountering those children in other places, and it's and their way of life looks more attractive.
Right. 100%.
So we have to teach our children, as attractive as that looks, there's no real long-term benefit for that type of behavior. It's going to come back to haunt you. The problem is you can't tell children that these days. They'll think you don't know what you're talking about. That's just the way it was when you was old. Things are different now, Daddy. Things are different now, Mommy. That's what they say. You just don't know.
Like we used to say.
We used to say.
You don't know.
But like we used to say, it kind of was when we were saying it. It kind of was different. But and for my kids, it kind of is different. You know what I'm saying?
Because it is. That's true.
Everything is kind of evolving from generation to generation. You know what I'm saying? When my kids come home talking teenage talk, I can't stand these ops. I'm in the mid. I'm like, what you say?
I'm in the what?
But when I was, bro, I mean, I know the definition.
I need you to translate, brother. Help me out.
Well, ops is opposition.
Okay.
Mid is mean that's you in the middle of the pack. You're not above, you're not below. You in the middle. So instead of middle, they say mid.
So my children, my children are depriving me of today's lingo. Then.
So, but like I was saying, when I was their age, my mama didn't understand what I was talking about when I came home, speaking the same teenage lingo. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we had our own little lingo back then.
Right.
But it evolves. So as parents now, like I can see where my mama was having her issues with me, but thankfully I didn't have the same issues as my kids. My kids don't have the same issues I had when I was young, but they're not in that environment, and they're in a 2-parent household.
Right.
And we both working, and neither one of us doing drugs. You know what I'm saying? So they got all kinds of these advantages. That I didn't have, you know what I'm saying? So,
but my question is, does that present something else though? Because something else that I discovered, one of the greatest conversations we have today is this sense of entitlement. Right.
Oh, they spoiled as hell.
Right. They feel like somebody owes them something. And so that's what I meant when I said, like the immature mind of young people revolves around self-centeredness and what somebody else can do for them, right?
Oh yeah.
the problem that we have, and you talk about, are we creating a softer generation? What contributes to creating a softer generation? When you can't tell the difference between the adults and the children.
Wait, say that again.
When you can't tell the difference, what contributes to a softer generation is when you can't tell the difference between the adults and the children. Where are the adults in the room? That's real. Because what I see is we as adults are as self-centered as young people are today. We're chasing the same things. Grown folks and young people are on TikTok. Grown folks and young people want likes. Grown folks and young people are fighting to be heard. So my question is, where is the maturity? What I've learned is maturity doesn't just come with age. So are we creating a softer generation? If the generation today is softer, we created it.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I know.
But I mean, in terms of, like certain level of, like you said, of toughness or resistance in life, I think for one, we're different, because of like for you, Kaneem, you got your kids on a different kind of class, like, because you guys are doing better. Like you said, 2-parent household, not having to deal with drugs, like, some of the stuff that you were facing when you were young. So you're doing what you doing best. It's like, I don't want to just throw my kids out there so they can suffer. You good now? You got it? Did you get the message?
Bro, I wanted to make sure that I didn't do what my parents did. Mama ain't good. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to make sure I didn't do nothing. My kids ain't never seen me smoke cigarettes. They ain't never seen me do drugs. They ain't never seen me drink alcohol. They ain't never seen me do none of that. Even though I done all that. I still drink a little bit, but they ain't never seen me do none of that. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
They ain't never seen me get a liquor bottle and pour it into a cup. You feel what I'm talking about?
Right.
So it's just what I'm intentionally and consciously not exposing them to vices or habits.
Yes.
Now, if they pick it up on their own, that's on them. I can tell them what happens after. If you get a vice and you get it, and I notice it and I see it, then we can have a conversation about it.
Right.
But I'm not gonna expose you to it thinking, oh, well, he drinking. It must be all right. No, I'm not gonna. But if you start drinking, I see you come to the house and all of a sudden you got a 6-pack or a bottle in a brown bag. Oh, that's what we doing now. Oh, I didn't know you were doing it like that. And then we can have that conversation. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But everybody handle their kids differently, man. I'm just trying not to do what my mama and daddy tried to do. Well, my dad ain't really do jack doodle, so I can't say what he tried to do. But as far as my mama, Oh, go ahead, bro.
Did you just say jack doodoo?
Yes.
I was trying not to say jack shit.
Good job, Kaneem. Good job. I don't know why did we have to circle back there? Why I knew what you were saying. Everybody in the audience knew what you were saying.
Listen.
I had to dumb it down for him,
By 3 o'clock, by 3 o'clock this afternoon, I will have said jack doodoo at least 3 more times. That's where I was going.
Got you. Oh yeah, I mean, everybody parent differently, man. That's all.
Yeah, because I feel differently about that. Like, my children have seen me pour a drink, right? My children have seen me smoke, right? What I'm saying is, like, because we all come from different places, and that's just real. But what I try to share with them regarding the habits that I have had in my life is, you can't allow things to own you, to govern you. Everything in moderation, and I make sure that I support that with scripture, so that they see, like, when I tell you something, I want you to know what God says about it, right? so that you don't see me just pulling things out of the air.
Right.
I want to make sure everything has that foundation to it. But I agree with you that I don't want you doing it.
Right.
I don't want you. This is not what I see for your life.
Right.
You have a better opportunity for yourself than this.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be a part of your life, I have nothing to do with that.
Right.
And I can accept, like, if I planted the seed because you saw me do it, you know what I'm saying? Then I'll deal with that, but I'll make sure to explain to you why I did what I did,
right,
or even why I do what I do. Right. And I'll tell you what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
And then I'll remind you that it's me.
Yeah.
So that you remember you have choices, but you're going to make informed decisions. There won't be ignorant decisions. It'll be dumb. You knew better and you did it anyway.
Right.
That's how I look at it, because look, my mom is on here, man. I learned how to smoke weed twisting up for my mother.
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
I started out cutting it up for her in her little tray. And then I got to rolling it for her. Then I got to lighting it for her. Next thing you know, I took a hit. She took it. That's where I came from.
Right.
But I saw her do it in moderation.
Right.
Right. Came home, take the top off. Take the top off. She come home from work and she light up, and I'm like, oh, okay, it mellows you out. Is that what it is?
Right.
Oh, well, let me get mellow. You 16. What you got to get mellow about?
Right.
But that's just how. But what I'm saying is, we all come from that, and so what I've tried to do is share with my children, share the truth about where I come from,
right,
with my children, and make sure that they know they can do whatever they want to do, but everything costs something, and you have to count up the costs.
Definitely.
For everything that you do, and so that's me in my house.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're sharing time. I guess for my household, I had 2-parent household, but I think for me it's just more of a family time kind of thing, because we was in the same house, but we weren't like, I've always wanted, you see certain things like Pastor, he's the Brady Bunch, you just want that interaction. We didn't have a lot of those kind of interaction. My dad was old school, he worked, slept, keep quiet, he's sleeping. Mom's is always doing her thing. We would never I don't think we ever played a game together. Like that I ever remember. Just coming together. We ate dinner together. That was the rule. I called it the hot seat, because that's when I got questioned about what's going on in school. What you doing here? What's going, oh, it's dinner time. But outside of that, yeah, I think for me, it's just more conversation was what I wanted in my household. Just how you feeling? How does that make you feel? Do you like this, or we're doing this? There is at least a little space for how you feel or what you're thinking about a move or what we're doing. I get it. It's gonna be tough. Just gotta go through it. It's opening up conversation in my household is the main thing. So like you, Kadeem, like when things that you were raised that you don't want to repeat, I think for us we were so fractured in a sense where we weren't really close. So mine is like that bonding. I sat in the room watching TV with my son, driving him crazy. Like, you don't know the woman, because he's older now, want that space. I was like, I'm invading the space.
And that's like I say, my mom was kind of like Brian mama, but
okay,
extreme, like time 10, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah, I think that's the difference though, man. You learning the difference between moderation and extreme.
Right.
Right. Because addiction is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
But I found out you can be addicted to television.
Right.
Addicted to madness, addicted to anger, But again, I think it's important I really believe when we talk about the contrast between the adults today and this next generation and the determination of whether or not we consider them to be soft and who's responsible or who's accountable for the condition of today's young people. The real question is, how do we resolve it? How do we heal it? Because we have to take ownership of it. And one thing that, and to AD's point earlier about communication, one thing that you could do in our house was express yourself. There was room to be mad in the house that I grew up in.
But wasn't none of that in my house.
But you had to own your feelings, right? You had to own it. And that's real. And you had to be careful what you did with it, right? So I do appreciate that. But I think that, obviously that had a lot to do with the fact that my mother was in early childhood education. So she dealt with whiny children every single day, right? So it was easy for her to come home and help us understand how we had to manage our feelings. And that's where, the wisdom of the adults, the older generation comes in, helping young people cope and understand and own their feelings. And to your point, AD, to be able to talk through those things, because back in the day when we was coming up, you didn't talk about it. It was taboo.
Right.
Talk about, what was going on in your heart.
Yeah.
In a lot of households, not everyone, but in a lot of them.
Right.
Man, my mama, we ain't never had no deep conversations.
Yeah.
About nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. No birds and the bees. No how your dad's school. No. We ain't talk about nothing. Now, what we did do is if I did something that she didn't like or wasn't supposed to do, something she already told. Right. Oh, it was discipline coming behind that. Yeah. But he was always like with whoopings. Oh man, she got all kind of trophies for whoopings. It was crazy back in the day, man. But as far as conversations about my mental state,
right?
I don't think she. But then again, I mean, she had her own troubles going on in her head. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
As far as her asking me how I'm going, that wasn't even part of her thought process. I guess that might be why I'm like I am, because I don't really consider other folks' mind state until they tell me. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm not looking at how you feeling or what's troubling you or this, that, and the third until you tell me.
Right.
And I probably should be more involved in asking those questions. You know what I'm saying, about why what you look different today.
Right. Oh, understanding your audience is what you're saying. Paying
like you're saying,
Well, being open and considerate of my audience.
Right.
I'm still learning that part, because I'm like I said, I'm a butthole by nature. So your feelings is your feelings. You know what I'm saying? They don't impact me unless they impact me.
Right. Yeah, I don't say. I look at that as just being raw, right? I think someone who can't handle your rawness, could potentially consider you to be inconsiderate. But the thing is, when I hear you talk, you have a desire that outweighs the rawness of you. So I see that evolution already. Right. It's not that you don't care. You just used to speaking what's on your mind, and it don't matter what you think about it. I'm going to tell you what's on my mind. I have no filter.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I should be wanting to be an ear to what you feeling. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not that ear like I should be, or being more aware that there is emotions that I should be considerate of. I guess that's a better way.
I told you, man, you taking me back to when I was looking for a car for my daughter. And I'm like, I got to go talk to these people, and you know cars more than I do. You know car sales more than I do. And you're like, oh yeah, we could talk about it. We could talk about it. In my mind, I'm like, no, dude, I need you to be there. You said, oh, so what you really saying is you want me physically there. That was you taking the time. You worked it out in your head. Like, oh, I see where you're going. No, you actually want me to get in my car, leave my house, and drive to where you are. Is that? Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. Oh, okay. And you were like, okay. Right? But it took a minute for you to figure that out. You know?
Yeah, but I'm saying, but it took a minute for you to let me figure that out.
That's what I'm saying. You're like,
point.
That's my point.
Hey, meet me over here at such and such time, man. I need your help.
Right.
But instead of you give me all this glitz and glamour, get to the point.
Because I'm looking for you to recognize what I'm really saying without saying it.
But I ain't
And
no
you said,
mind
nah, you
reader.
gotta tell me, bro.
I've been saying that since a long time. I do not read minds, and I'm not gonna try.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to read nobody's mind. I'm not a therapist. Get to the point. Let me know what you need. If I can
You're
do
so
it,
hard.
So what's funny, Kenny? If like you had that conversation with Pastor, and then you went to talk to your wife about him calling you, she was like, he wanted you to come there.
Right.
And you would have like, he should have just said it.
Right.
Give me all these parables.
Because see, here's the reason why. Because again, it's personality. It's just personality. Because once I got that, you know what, man, you got to tell Kaneem.
Yeah.
Because he ain't read between those lines. He is straight, black, white. That's it. You know, and you have to learn that about people's personality. Because if you were saying the same thing to me that I was saying to you, I'd be like, hey, man, you want me to be there? You want me to come meet you there? That's what I would have done. Right. I would have volunteered, and you would have told me, no, I don't need you to be there. Could you just be on the phone? That's how the conversation would have went, because it's just a difference in personality. And what I mean, it doesn't make, like, you say your butthole, it leads me to think that somebody has called you a butthole.
It wasn't a butt though, but yeah, I've been
right.
Yeah.
We know.
Right. and I don't, and see, that's, to me, I don't see it that way. And what I tell people all the time, this is what I say to people, Kaneem. Just say it. Even if you're afraid to hurt my feelings, at least give me the benefit of the doubt. Let my feelings get hurt, so at least I know. Right? That's what I'm, and so that's what I believe. So I'm going to try to pull that stuff out of people.
Right.
And that's
I guess I'm I feel you on that.
Yeah.
It's always, for me, it's good to just be plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? Because then there's no interpretation.
Right. I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I used to be a great liar. So my conversations are colorful. Kaneem can tell you a lot, but Kaneem ain't gonna lie.
Right.
Right. Nah,
that's what I mean. I'm like, it's like for me, I'm always not anymore. I used to be concerned about how people felt. I'm still concerned about how people feel. I'm always concerned about somebody else's heart and how they interpret something. So it takes me 20 minutes to say 60 seconds worth of stuff.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about that now. I'm more concerned about how I make people feel now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm intentional about not being offensive. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Even though I don't know what offends you.
Right.
I'm like,
that's fair. That's fair. That's wisdom.
Is this gonna offend you?
Yeah.
Let me be universal in my next phrase or my next statement.
Yeah. Right.
And if I be universal, then but once you give me feedback or reply,
right,
and then I'm like, oh, this you crazy. That's what. It's all about the feedback from the universal statements.
He said, "Just don't test my character. We're all good."
But I think that's what, when we deal with the younger generation, right? The responsibility of parents. Children don't ask to come into the world, right? And when they come in, children deserve to be desired. And when you have children brought into the world and parents that are abusive in nature, what you're saying is, I brought you into this world, but I didn't make room for you. Right. We have to, and that's where abuse and bad raising and bad rearing, it comes from the fact that you brought a child into this world, but your world wasn't prepared to receive this child. And it's a whole life coming into this world that you have to nurture, and you don't have the patience, you don't even have yourself together. And so the child is impacted by your lack of preparation. And that's when tragedy happens.
Right.
That's when abuse happens. Right. That's when people get soft, trying to be hard.
Right. Right.
You know, and so as parents, we have to recognize those, which is why we tell young people, you know, make sure you're prepared for adult type relationships. because you're going to invite things into your life that your heart, your emotional state may not be wise enough or mature enough to handle.
Right.
Yeah. I think I mentally exercise with my kids all the time because I'm like asking them questions and you can just see the wheels turning in their head like, what should I say? How should I say it? But I'm doing that intentionally. My wife think I'll be picking on them sometimes, but I'll be like, I mean, they need to know that there's a follow-up for whatever answer you give.
Right.
It's almost never ending. So if you can give them that statement that ends all,
right,
then you'll be a better communicator because you understand
that's true.
that if I give you all this in a nice package and give every answer instead of you saying, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Because that why can go on forever. Why?
Right.
Why? Well, you that can go on, but if you give it to them nicely in a good package where it can alleviate any other questions,
right.
You don't have to worry about the endless why question.
That's good. That's good.
So but I give it to them because they'll just give you this teenage. And I'll be like, oh no, we got to do better than that. I don't know. I don't have an excuse. Well, you got an excuse because you did it.
Right.
When you did it, what were you thinking when you did it? Well, I just didn't want to. Well, that's your answer.
Right. Let's get down to what's really going on. What's good?
You telling me you ain't got no excuse? You ain't got no you just didn't want to. Why you didn't clean your room? I don't have an excuse.
Right.
You know what? I just didn't want to clean it. Thank you. let's get to the point. I just didn't want to do it. All right. Well, I mean, so now they got real good. Now they use some of my little questions. They use on their friends and their peers. You know what I'm saying? Like I get tickled by when they be, because I'm I be ear hustling. So I'm like, so I'm like, oh, okay, I see you.
Know where your children at?
I gave you that. I just want you to know.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So now their friends just can't tell them anything.
Wow. Yeah. Indeed. And I think, and it's funny that you say that. Like, I think that's what we need to teach our children more, like the verbal sparring, like how to handle a good back and forth and shut somebody down, like, but having those conversations and things of that nature. I think that's incredibly important because you're going to, you get smacked in the face with words at school. You're going to get smacked in the face with words in a corporate event, at a meeting. You got to learn when John over there tries to be sarcastic, you need to be able to shut him down.
Now if I could just get them to keep their emotions in check.
Yes.
While they're sparring.
Right.
When you get emotional, all your logic goes out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, don't drop no tears. Don't choke up now. You was doing so good. So what's that? Well, I mean, but they young. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
16, you know what I'm saying? They but as long as they're keeping their emotions in check.
Right.
Oh man, they go back and forth. But once
you have to have what a comment said, you got to have the wisdom of the elders to conquer this insanity.
Yeah.
I think that parental love is a critical factor, and parental love should become or evolve into community support.
Yeah.
If every parent is loving their child, then what you have is a thriving community, right? The Lord says that as sunshine is to a plant, so is love to children, right? To help them grow. So affection, devotion are necessary components, and for us as men, we don't include affection and devotion when we consider our sons. We allocate that to our daughters and not to our sons. My son was a brother to me in the Lord, but he needed as much affection and devotion from me as I gave to my daughters. He just needed it differently as a boy, as a young man. And so that's the milk and honey in the emotional rearing of young people. And you have to be able to do that, but also have the discipline and the structure as well.
Right.
Oh Lord, what time is it? Oh, it's 10 o'clock, y'all. I gotta go. I'm sorry.
All right, brother. I gotta go.
We gotta go too.
Yeah. All right.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I gotta get ready to go too, man. So look, I know this is a little off topic, but tomorrow is Mental Health Wednesday.
Yes.
So if I don't know if you got a topic or not, but if you do got a topic, so be it. But if you don't got a topic, well, the topic could be, as parents, do you believe your kids respect your efforts?
Wait, respect your
efforts. Is raising them as a parent.
You blanked out once you said it. So do you
believe
your
kids respect your efforts as a parent?
You respect your efforts. Like, okay.
Yeah, do they see it? Do they not acknowledge it? Or are they just going through it like, okay, that's what you're supposed to do? You're my dad. That's what you're supposed to do. You're my mom. Do you think they acknowledge your efforts?
Yo, we can get into it, but I don't think so. I don't know, because I don't think I've seen it. Like, I don't think I respected my parents' efforts like that. Like they did that thing. Yeah. It's not always right. It's not always that simple. So appreciate you, Kaneem. Appreciate you, man. We're gonna that's a good one, man. That's a good one. All right.
All right, man. Y'all be good.
Yes, indeed.
I'm out.
Peace out. So we thank you guys for being here. Thank you for rocking another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Be sure to share. Let everybody know that we're on. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Be a part of our text community. Be a part of our text community. And as we grow and we do amazing things in the community, your support here helps, but your financial support means a lot to us as well. And if you're feeling led to give, go to Cash App $BOL 2019, Cash App $BOL 2019, and coming soon, probably tomorrow, you'll be able to be able to give through our text community as well. And I'll be sending out a link for that to make it easier to give, because we are starting a campaign going forward. Let's see. Oh, appreciate the Mama Corey. Oh, geez, that was just the second coming. I'm still here. Is the third coming? It's so silly. All right, we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Make sure you stay safe. He said, life isn't black and white. Most people live in the gray area. Interesting. We'll dig into it. Appreciate you, Ali, for being here, man. And Reese, if you're still in the building, appreciate you as well. Jeff, always. Mama Corey, Lisa, Deborah, everybody. And all the people that, because numbers are pretty high. Those are sitting in the background, chilling and just watching. I appreciate you for supporting. Listen, you're coming and getting some good information. So we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. 988. If you or someone else is having a mental health crisis, make sure you dial that. And that is it. That is all. See you tomorrow. Peace out. Where we at? There we go.